Hey everybody, John here. So it occurred to me about an hour ago that most people in the country, little in the world, probably have no idea what it's like to live in a border community. And they probably think that everything is fine and great and don't realize how bad it can be, and in some respects is here now because of what's going on at the border. So we are in Otero County, which is in southern New Mexico. 80 miles to our south is El Paso and the actual border. However, because we are basically the next town up from El Paso, we are basically considered a border community as well. To our west is Las Cruces, and they are getting it worse than we are, but we'll discuss that in a minute. So, as far as me and Andrea, we own 8 acres of land here on the north side of town, and we winter over here in our RV. And so there's the RV. There's our shipping container with like our washer and dryer and our couch and my snowshoes and crap like that in it. I'm showing you this because we have had people on that side of the shipping container trying to steal stuff from us and stealing stuff from us. So that's 16 feet away that we've had people. Now, I don't know if they're illegals. I don't know who they are in this instance, but people nonetheless. Now, over here on our land, we have this low area, and this is created. There's a little ditch there, and when it rains, the water runs into that low area, and so the brush there is thicker than the rest of the property. Let's go over and look at that. Okay, so just for a frame of reference, the RV and our stuff is over there, about 200 feet. We're now sort of on the eastern edge of that area of thicket. Here it is. And we have had illegals here, camping in here and eating in here. We have not actually, it's funny, we don't actually see them here, but we will the next day see signs that they've been here at night. So, like I said, food and bedding is what we find here. So, there's a barbed wire fence right along here. And there's what used to be a gate right there, still on the edge of my property, and we're going to go there now. Talk about that. Now wait. You see this? I don't know if it's a keychain or something that you wear around your neck with your ID on it or something, but this is what I'm talking about. With regards to stuff showing up on my land that isn't mine. Anyway, we're going up there. So, first off, we're now on the other side of my land, but there's a little road you can sort of see here, and the road actually goes around this way up to there. There's a city well that they pump water out of there. So these are sort of old access roads for that well. And the reason we're standing here is, well, first off, I've got that no trespassing sign. But what will happen is we will have coyotes. And a coyote is somebody who assists in the transport and or getting over of illegals into this country. We will have people sitting here in a truck watching us in our RV with binoculars. How do we know this? We know this because we are in turn watching them watch us with binoculars. Now, the other interesting thing is I like to keep my barbed wire guitar string tight, like this. I can tell nobody has touched that barbed wire, but see how the lower two courses look stretched? That means that somebody has come through, probably going that way. The other thing I'll point out is that house and that mess right there in that RV are empty at the moment, but they are frequented by squatters, so it's not out of the possibility to have illegals in there at any point in time. Okay, so as I said, we're here on this trail. We're going to go to the far corner of my property up there. Okay. One thing I want to point out, because we are on city property, and that's a city well right there, but you can see faintly but freshly tire tracks here, right? There's no rational reason why there should be tire tracks here, unless you're going along the base of the mountain. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, we are in the easternmost corner of my property. That pin right there denotes it. We're still on city land here, but just the other side of that pin is BLM land. Not that that matters. Okay, for a second, just enjoyed the flowering ocotillo at this time of the year. Anyway, so that's us there, and we are going right where that tree is. What's that, 120 feet away? That's where we're going. All right, so as I said, my property pin is about 120 feet over there. So let me give you an idea as far as what you're looking at here, because this is probably something you aren't aware of or have never encountered unless you've been in the Southwest. This dry riverbed is referred to as an arroyo. This is where, when we have flash flooding and stuff, those waters come howling out of the mountains through stream beds like this. However, when it's not raining, in our case, these are being used by people to skirt along the mountains without having to go right down the middle of Main Street. So these arroyos along the base of the Sacramento Mountains are used like a highway system to go from the south to the north. We frequently see people and movement and activity in here between the hours of, I'd say, 11 o'clock at night and 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, we don't know exactly what they are using this for. If this is a rally area or a place to stop and have something to eat, or here's maps to the next waypoint, or what. But this is built up and used by people in the process of getting from south to north. Like I said, we never see, well, that's not true. Twice we've seen people actually here, but you don't go walking up to them and ask them what the hell they're doing. All right, so there's a bag that's dry, and it rained the other day, which means that people are probably in the area, or have been. That's okay. So, what does all this mean, though, is the question. Alamogordo, where I live, is a town with a population of about 30,000. As I said, just west of us is Las Cruces, and they have a population of about 100,000. Now, I just looked at the Customs and Border Patrol website, and it's saying that now, on average, about 105,000 people are coming over the border every month. Let's say that again. 105,000 people every month are coming over the border. Now, I'm sure that's from down there in Brownsville, Texas, all the way over there to San Diego, California. So it's not all in one spot, but it is a lot of people coming across just the same. Now, our little jerkwater community here of 30,000 people is not based upon any single industry, meaning we don't have the plant in town where everybody works. In fact, I would dare say that we are probably living below the rest of the state, or a good chunk of the state, as far as income and things like that. That's okay. Life's good here. Anyway, Las Cruces, next door, is a bigger town with 100,000 people, and they are slightly more affluent and have they have some of the bigger things. They have the mall, in fact, things like that. But here's the problem. Friday afternoon, it's 3:15 now, they'll be gearing up the schools to accommodate illegals coming over. So they'll put bunks and cots in the, I guess in the hallways or in classrooms or in the gym or something, I don't know. But they will be turning the schools now into makeshift shelters. So be it. Apparently, Las Cruces, where they have the missions and the church shelters and the things like that, they are full up, overflowing with people. So much so that at noon today on the news, we had a special alert, special bulletin, that they are releasing 5,000 people at that moment into the community. And what that means is there'll be 5,000 people standing on the street corners begging. There'll be 5,000 people engaged in petty theft and stuff like that. And obviously, it's not going to be everyone of that 5,000. But the fact of the matter is, it's 5,000 today in that town right over there. Today's Friday, and we were over in Las Cruces, I think it was Monday. No, maybe it was Tuesday. It doesn't matter. I guess it was Tuesday. And here's the rest of the story. So you have the churches with their kind-hearted efforts to give everybody a roof over their head and a meal, and that's fine. They can only do that for so many people, so there's a certain degree of turnover. Border Patrol discharges their chunk of people to the churches and the shelters. The churches and the shelters will fatten them up, if you will, and wash them up and what have you. And then when the new chunk is coming, then the old chunk goes out onto the street. Now, we went and did laundry in Las Cruces while we were there. And I participated in a conversation with the guy who ran the laundromat. And here's what we were discussing. Basically, if you think about it, when you see these people coming in their caravans from down south, they don't have the big Samsonite or American Tourister suitcases full of clothing. So what happens is they will come in like a giant flash mob of illegal aliens, 15, 20, or 30 of them, and open up all the dryers, open up all the washers, and grab big armfuls of clothing that people are in the process of washing, and they go running out with them and disappear into the night. So basically, we were told, stand in front of your stuff all the time. Don't turn your back on it. Don't walk away. Don't go over to the candy machine. Stand in front and mind your stuff. The other thing is that things like carjacking and simple assault and petty theft and larceny and stuff like that are out of control. So not only will you have these people panhandling at the intersections of all the major roads now, but the other word on the street is don't drive with your windows down or open at all. Because if you are sitting there with your cell phone at a light, apparently what's happening is somebody is running up, reaching in and grabbing your phone, and then running off. And now you've got zero recourse because, you just basically got robbed. The funny thing is that unless these things apparently are being witnessed by the police, that they are not being written up in the way that they should be. So, going back to the laundromat, the guy said that since the beginning of the year, quite a number of vehicles have been carjacked from the parking lot. But because the police are not there when the crime is taking place, it's not described as or being written up as a immigrant-related carjacking or anything like that. So the statistics are really soft, is what I'm saying. Now, going back to where I live here, first off, frame of reference, the hospital where that kid died because he came over with, the flu or something, that hospital's about a mile right over my shoulder. That's the hospital that we all go to. That happened here. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, we are a kind-hearted, poor community. And a lot of our resources that we should be devoting to our own people, as far as food banks and things like that, and thrift clothing stores, things like this, a lot of those resources are now going to the illegal aliens. So, as I said, the kind-hearted, poor, Catholic, Hispanic lady, we have loads of them here. All of their contributions or donations are now going to the illegals and not really helping the community, and it's beginning to show. Now, the other thing is that in our 15 years of living here, we have never seen the Border Patrol checkpoints closed. And what a Border Patrol checkpoint is between here and El Paso, there was a place where they would stop you and basically ask for your country of citizenship. That was also a place where they would bring the dog out to sniff around your car and things like that, looking for drugs. All of the Border Patrol checkpoints are now closed in New Mexico, and I guess also apparently in Texas, because all of the extra personnel have been shifted down closer to the border to deal with the tens of thousands of people who are coming across the border every week. What that means is less law enforcement people here in town to deal with all the other stuff. And by that I mean without any Border Patrol checkpoint and without any German Shepherd there at the Border Patrol checkpoint, we are now seeing a greater influx of drugs in town here, and I guess going further up into the state apparently as well. So crime and drugs have gone way up. And so when we had sort of a not directly related problem to this, but a problem nonetheless, and wound up talking to a sheriff about what our recourse was. Basically, we were told, do not leave your vehicle, your RV, do not go out unless you're fully armed all the time. And so unfortunately, now I carry a gun all the time. Now, when we go into town, depending upon the time of the day, the day of the week, instead of us both going into the store shopping, maybe Andrea goes in by herself, and I have to sit out in the RV guarding our stuff, because it's possible that we'll come back and, if we both go in, we'll come back and our stuff won't be there anymore. So the border, the strip of land that goes from about 0 to 100 miles in, again, from Brownsville to San Diego, has become a really tough area. It's an area now full of crime, lacking in law enforcement because all those people, as I said, are down on the border, and it's slowly getting worse. So my question for you is, Are you a border hypocrite? And by that I mean, unless you're sitting here next to me, you have no idea what's involved, what's going on here. And so if you're sitting back there in Bridgeport, Connecticut, or in Portland, Maine, or in Boulder, Colorado, or wherever you are, saying, yay, it's great that we're bringing these people by the tens of thousands into the country and all that, think about the community where those people are ending up, because it's right here, and it's no fun. So here's my question. Why don't you send some money to some of the organizations that I'm going to list down below, right down there? Why don't you send your tax refund? Why don't you send your kid's birthday present? Why don't you send your car payment to one of these organizations that I'm going to list down below? And it's not going to be like the Red Cross or UNICEF or 4-H or something like that. It's going to be the church 2 miles away over there that basically is delving into its reserves because they've got 5,000 people coming this weekend that they didn't expect to have yesterday. So if you think it's a good idea that we let these people in, if you think that it's a good idea that we have the border as porous as we do, write a check. Don't be some sort of border hypocrite. Oh, and if you want, come on down. We've got plenty of land here. You can park your tent or your RV next to ours, and you can live worried about what's going to happen or what you're going to run into when you open your door at night. So, there you have it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later.